Greetings on his fine day of political manipulation and media manipulations. Yeah. So, um, so I was answering questions before I went live here, and download came to me. I saw it, I felt it, and now we're here to share. So I guess it's story time with our president to be, or whatever that thing is. So I felt I wasn't looking for this. It just sort of came on by itself, and it's been kind of a rough. It's been rough ever since the whole election situation's coming, but it's been rough recently, and I guess you can say it's finally kind of paying off. So I felt like a facility. I felt Biden connected to Dolce, New Mexico. I saw him in like one of those water, like a water tank, but it's vertical, and he's just swimming in it with cords plugged into him and everything. But it was during the 1970s, and so the 1970s when the clone was activated for him. So I want to go ahead and give you more detail of what I saw. I believe now it was alien technology. There are grays there, reptilians, but there's other beings there too, but they're not showing themselves. I'm surprised I got to see this. Cloning's I've always been blocked on cloning. Secret Space Program been blocked on that too. I get little bits here and there, but it's not clear. I'm not a cloning expert or anything like that, but I'll take what I can get. But this came out of nowhere. I wasn't looking for it. So it was like tanks, like for an adult, and they're just kind of swimming in the tanks, just kind of asleep, but in the tanks. Like you see something you see out of Star Wars, vertical tanks, a bunch of them. A lot of Biden clones. Remember 1970s, and that's when he started to be. That's when he got into politics around the mid 70s. So. And the Biden clones, there's a bunch of them apparently. And so they kind of test them out to see how their personalities are, see if they can be similar to the original, at least enough. They might not remember everything, but always have the mannerisms of it to a certain extent. So, and there's a bunch of them, and they're being taught. So think of like a room full of Bidens. Like a classroom, and they're actually learning how to be like him. Now their personalities are a little bit different. So this has been going on for a long time. So if they don't pass the test, they just destroy them. But they're always making new ones too, from what I'm feeling. Now they have to let it age too. They can't just let it be one. I believe they can, but just keep them like in 30 forever. But they can't do that, obviously. But they do have a teacher. It feels like a female teacher. Now, realize when I saw this, it was all visual. It all just came to me it's like I said, I wasn't looking for it. Now, how they switch them out. Now, who's going to believe this shit? But I'm going to tell you what I see. So, as at night, when he's sleeping at home with his wife, they turn off the energies somehow. Or they make it where nobody wakes up, however that works. And they take the sleeping body and replace it with, and the clone is actually sleeping sedated. And they just lay him in the bed and leave. It takes like seconds to switch it out. And he's in the same clothes and things like that, and they just leave. So they go through like some kind of, I know, sounds crazy, like a portal or something like that. It feels like a black, dark thing that opens up. Something like that. So it's kind of spooky, but look at society being programmed right now. They're all celebrating this whole election, and it's like it's not illegal yet, but yet the media call it. So that tells you how far gone everything is at the moment. But yeah, Biden's definitely a clone, which I didn't disagree with that, but it's not easy to connect to this stuff. But yeah, He sold himself out a long time ago. You can say he signed an astral to sell himself out. I think it's always been a sellout his whole existence. So, so they teach him. So like he's like with his wife or wives. I think he switched wives actually. He was with one and he switched to another one, which makes sense. If it's, I have to look into what date, what time that happened. I'll have to look that up because if that means that clone definitely. So if he was with wife number one or girlfriend number one and switched, that means that the clone decided to go with somebody else, which makes sense. So, like, I don't know how. I'm not going to look it up either. I don't feel like looking it up right now. So, for memory though, so he's not going to remember everything. Obviously, clones not going to remember what happened yesterday. They'll have some information about it, but he's going to have to just. They have some kind of way of telling him, or at least appointments or schedule or something like that, so he knows. And they kind of like feed him information as he goes about his day until he gets used to the rhythm. Something like that, at least I'm perceiving right now. So he's not always going to remember everything. Again, who the hell does? Maybe we're all clones. So, but yeah, it's now some people out there, spiritual land, that don't remember your dreams, don't remember anything. Some of you, I believe, have been in Dolce, and I'm not sure if you want to wake up and remember that because it's kind of like a nightmare. It's very lifeless. They are playing God. They don't really care. They can get away with it. And it is an alien experiment. But it's humans involved, obviously, but it's aliens and humans working together. So, and this thing's been going on forever. Maybe not in Dolce, but I think Dolce has been actually around for quite some time, actually. Probably older than the United States, actually. So, yeah, probably. And also, it's not just Biden. It's Ronald Reagan also. Probably others too. They might be in other facilities. Ronald Reagan was in that facility too. And I believe they knew each other from what I'm gathering. George Bush, no, he's somewhere else. But he's senior, he's somewhere else. But Biden is definitely a clone. Fuck yeah. Now, they're not going to tell me details of what's going on now, but that's blocked. But they did show me a clone. I mean, who the hell is going to believe this? Well, obviously, those that are awakened to all this, but your average programmed person and believing our election is all legit. And of course, they're taught not to believe it. It's like teaching a puppy tricks that you want. It's like teaching an animal tricks. It's like manipulating an animal and telling you yes and no and all that. It's like we're treated like animals basically. No surprise there, right? So, but yeah, it's definitely Dolce. That Dolce energy, Dolce came through and was showing a bunch of Biden clones in the same room, and they all kind of knew they were there. Like they acknowledged. It's like they knew that there are other clones there, but they didn't really acknowledge them. They kind of were doing what they're being told. Like I said, if others, and so they're teaching them about the world, like you teach a baby. And that was the other thing. When they came out of that incubator, the vertical incubator that's growing them, it's like their bodies were like baby oil. It's like they were babies. I mean, they're adults, but their flesh was very baby-like, very just new. So how the hell they get it older is obvious. It does feel like they do train them for a couple of years. Yeah, I got that energy there. It's all underground. Now they do bring them above ground. I don't know how the hell they do that, but they do train them underground. God, jeez. So some people out there that are getting night terrors and losing their freaking mind, astral, you're probably aware of the cloning more than you might realize. So, like I said, I wasn't looking for this. Sort of got a download out of nowhere. It's like, it's like about freaking time I get someone tell me something that's going on. So yeah, Biden was made to rig the election, basically, from the very start. So he's like Plan B. There's Plan A, and of course, Obama was made somewhere else. I'm not going into details of who else. But Reagan, I feel Ronald Reagan was definitely there. I feel that energy, but now I'm not sure. They're not showing me this, but I believe I'm just going by my feeling that they take a fetus and put it into that chamber and grow it, and from hair and DNA and all that, they just grow them, and a little fetus in there, and then just grow it into a. That's my feeling on it. They're not really showing me that. They just show them as an adult in the in those tubes, just waddling around. It's creepy. It's like a nightmare. It's like hell. That's what it feels like. It feels like freaking hell. Yeah, they're just playing God. There are Zetas. There are humans that are doctors. Actually, a female doctor, I believe she's wearing a white robe, teaching the Bidens how to act. This is your wife. They show a picture of her. They show all her mannerisms, and they teach them how to interact with her. And they go, it's like teaching a baby. And they all have pretty much similar personalities, but do they obey is the thing. They have to have similar mannerisms, and usually they do because it's programmed in them because there's an alien computer thing that's doing it. Yeah, it's all done by computers, alien computers. It's not done by our Windows 95 or our Mac computers, not anything like that. It is alien. So I would say it's like connected to a ship, actually, like a mothership or something around those lines. So that knows. So when they get programmed, so when they're in those incubators, they're being programmed. So when they come out, they have knowledge of themselves, but they still have to. They have to come out of. You have to be a little bit more charismatic. They can't just be wooden. So, yeah, it's spooky. And politicians are mostly the ones in a clone facility, from what it feels like. So that's pretty fascinating. That was. Now this is not my criteria. It's not something I talk about very often. Here and there, it might come through. I might get some download, but usually it's blocked. But that one came pretty clear. Think about a room full of Bidens in like the 1970s, where everybody's in disco dancing and listen to whatever, wearing bell bottoms. And you got a cloning facility with a bunch of Bidens replacing the Biden that's there. And of course, nobody's going to believe this because they have the show all built up, or they made it believable, our reality believable enough. So yeah. So Biden has like a kind of like a cloned mother, so the person that's telling him what to do is like a mother. So it's kind of like their commander, their boss. So they're always keeping track. It's like this is your experiment. There's a fetus. This is your, we have guidelines we want you to follow, and just go by, this is how Biden is in the real world, and we want him to pretty much be very similar. Obviously, people change. So if somebody dramatically changes, clone is active now, doing its own thing. So if it's approved, they'll allow them to do whatever they want, as long as it fits the character profile enough. If all of a sudden they want to go into bodybuilding instead of being a politician, then they got a problem, but that's not happening there. So yeah, it feels like the back of the head is where they do a lot of their work on. The Biden somehow, I'm not sure how they do. Like they plug something in the back. I don't know what they're doing there, but it's when they're. So it does feel like they are born, without any hair. So they slowly grow their hair over time. So whatever plugs they have in them, they unplugged them, repaired it, whatever it might be. Something out of like the Matrix or something around those lines. So, but Dolce is definitely his home. At least the current. So they switch out the clones when they're not working anymore, or they fit their purpose, and they have a new agenda, like a new program for a new clone they switch them out. It's like, oh, they wake up in the morning. Oh, I want to do this now. I want to do something else, or it might take a couple of days to go into the next direction, whatever it might be. I believe as vice president, he was switched out quite a bit to keep up appearances, but they seem to have mastered it pretty well, so they can get. They just mastered it. They just, yeah, they got to feel it out. Of course, they have since the 1970s to understand him. So once they, yeah, it's just they figure they like this. The doctor understands it, like the mother. I think you get mothers because over time, because mothers can fail too, so they replace that and give him another one. So where he gets his programming from, or at least one that teaches them how to do things, how to interact with others. But there's also, I feel like there are different mothers too, different stages of the clone's life before they go public. You know, you have a mother when he's still learning mannerisms. They have a mother when he's connected to family. You know, they have different tasks. And then when they get the green light to go public, they replace it. Yeah, like when they get a cold, when they get sick, like Hillary Clinton got sick. You know, she was like, I believe now Hillary Clinton clones. Yeah, they were breaking down. Apparently, they're making them too fast or something. They weren't. She's older too, so it's a little bit harder there. It feels like they have not quite mastered. When they're younger, it's a little bit easier, but when they're older and they're in the public eye, it's a little bit harder to keep control over them. And so when they get sick, it's like they're programming their minds on a live, like they're like putting ideas into their mind, like sending them a program, like a download, like I've received. And sometimes they break down, they get sick, and they switch it out. And it's like, oh yeah, I'm starting to feel better. So it has to like play sick, or maybe it is sick too, but then it comes out of it, some kind of weird science fiction nightmare. So, yeah, that's it gives you some idea of it. Of course, your average human's not going to believe it because, you know, they're programmed believing all, geez. So hopefully a lot of this stuff starts to open up big time. All the rumors are true. Dolce is very, very just evil as hell, man. Just, it's beyond just God. It's like God left the building. They don't care about God. They are God. So they're downloading. So they're saying this stuff for their own damn karma, which makes sense because they suck. Not that this is going to save them, but they have to reveal themselves in some shape or form. Yeah, and they do have plans in the media, obviously, but in the crowds, it's people that start cheering for him and all that. They have that planned already, obviously, but they kept that stuff pretty quiet. Why he's running for president? Because he's just control. They can't control Bernie apparently. Even if Bernie has a clone, I'm not sure if he does or not, but he's hard to control. Like if the person's already snarky, because Bernie's pretty all over the place. You make a clone of him, it's gonna be the same way. It's gonna be harder to take. I feel like that's a tough. Bernie was off the table a long time ago. It feels like so. Hillary has sold herself out a long time ago. She wants power and whatever else, and also to achieve something in her life where she felt like she didn't achieve anything in her past lives as a wife and all that. I feel like she just wasted her life. So I don't think she's wasting her life now. Maybe she's driving us all insane, but she's not wasting her life anymore. So I don't know where Hillary was made. They're not showing that. Probably Dolce, but they're not showing that. But they show Biden pretty clearly and Ronald Reagan. I'm not going to go into politics too much. That's true. I said I was going to go into politics, but until this showed up. But with Reagan, you know, he did a lot of, you know, Iran and different things like that. Because I feel like the Democrats and the Republicans kind of joined together with Reagan, and you know, because like AIDS, he didn't say anything for like 6 years. They already killed like thousands of people. Didn't say anything until 6 years later, because they didn't give a shit. So Reagan I'm not sure if he was really a nice guy in the long run. I don't think so. I think he was programmed as any other. So, and he was programmed as an actor. They're not giving me anything on that. But Biden there, I feel like the download came from the good guys about Biden. But yeah, Biden's been reptilian. But he's been a sellout his whole life. So, is there anything else on that? All right, let's see if I can channel anybody to give you a bit more detail. I think I gave quite a bit. I'm not sure if there's anything else to add. So they do switch him out when he gets older. They do, like when he was vice president, they switched him out maybe weekly, a lot. Maybe not weekly, but you never know. They have a lot of them. They have a lot of clones of him. It's not all Dolce. You don't go to Dolce, it's all Biden clones. No. But he's one of their major league controllers. Yeah, they show him as they're talking about. Yeah, they show him on like he's standing up and they're examining him, like if he's going to match up to the one that's live that's running around right now, which is some twisted horror movie. They make a great movie, that's for damn sure. Living it's not fun, but they make a great movie. Jeez. So yeah, the Biden clones in class, because they actually sit in class and learn from a teacher, and they don't really talk to each other. They acknowledge that that's somebody else, but they don't really mingle with each other. Kind of like robotic. Until when they're tested to go out into the field, I believe they're tested like you teach a robot how to be human, something like that. Now some might be more advanced than others. It's all a test. They don't know where things are going to go. And they do show that some do die in their incubators too. In those chambers, some do die instantly. Not all of them are. So they're always growing. They're always growing a Biden clone. So that was always a question of how that works. Is this a soul? But it feels like it's the body that they switch out. So, scrapes and all that, they mimic them. They copy them. So, if the original or the Biden clone that's live, if it scrapes itself or has anything, they have to put that in the replacement. Of course, it might heal instantly, or I thought you had a headache. Oh, my headache's gone, or whatever the hell it is. So, yeah, when they have health problems, that means there's something wrong with it. Yeah, when it's starting to get all jiggery and all just then it's like, okay, it's time to replace this one. So, jeez, lovely. So yeah, secret government, secret military that we don't know anything about, and it's all underground. They're in the desert areas. They know to stay away from populated areas. It's just like a whole nother world. They just stay out of populated areas. Obviously, they know about the population, but those that are working in these facilities just stay out of it. It's just not worth it. So, yeah. Is this on the fourth dimension? It could be. Not showing that, but it does go into the physical reality eventually. Let's put it that way. Yeah. So it's well hidden. I believe it is physical. It's just well hidden. That's all I have to say about that. So, all right, we're going to channeling. I don't know who to connect with on something like this, but jeez. All right, blessings. Here we go. Greetings. We have the Men in Black. This is Agent N. So yes, this download is seeing how the public reacts. And there's much more, as many of you know. So this is a little bit of a hint of what's a splash of knowledge. And many of you, yes, have actually been connected to these beings, even talked to them in your astral. Now, how that conversation went is up to you. But many of you are connected to the military, the alien military, and this is part of your occupation, to know what's going on. Now, you might not remember for obvious reasons, but some of you know there's something going on. And for some of you, we feel like there's an awakening for you on the horizon. A download. Your presidency is quite humorous. It is showing that the ignorance of your media, the arrogance, the narcissism is loud and clear. It's showing the guilty ones are praising themselves, at least in the government level and media level. And on a human level, people that just believe in all this are just believing in the rhetoric, the programming, and that's fine. But yes, awakening is upon you, as you can see. A rough one, a one that is so deep, some will feel like they're not even on the planet. Some feel like this world rejected them because nothing's going their way. Some of you already feel that way. So obviously we can't go into details of what's coming next, but there is an awakening coming in that's been much appreciated, much waited upon for some time. As many of you deserve better. Now, for alien knowledge, now a lot of it probably, most likely, will be downloaded knowledge before you have a spaceship land in your backyard, or you guys have hamburgers, hot dogs, or wherever it is from outer space. You're also still getting to know each other. Humans are getting along with humans on a galactic level. Meaning you're going to go into an understanding of each other before the aliens arrive. Now, you'll feel the alien download knowledge will get stronger in due time. But first, your Earth has to purge, awaken, let the skeletons out of the closet. And there's a great deal of them. You can say also your shadow government kind of throw in the keys. Some of them are tired. They've had enough. They've had their fun. And then they move on. Now, does that mean they lost? Not necessarily. A lot of them just left. They don't feel like they're defeated. It's like, have your world back if you want it. We're tired of this place. So that's not all of your elite, but that's some of them. It's still up to you where things go and how you handle it. It is something that many of you have been looking for. You're looking for change. Well, I believe it has arrived, but not in the form that many of you thought it would. And oh, so many presents, and it's not even Christmas yet. You know the presents you're looking for, but many of you in Christmas get presents you don't like anyway. It's like, can I sell this on eBay? No, who the hell needs this anyway? Blessings to you all. This has been in Black, and we're watching you. Blessings. Greetings to you. This is Nathaniel with the Palladians, the tall blonde Nordics. Greetings to your civilization. So you can say, yes, you're cracking open your Earth, knowing more about yourselves, allowing a timeline to emerge. So your virus was a reset, and you're going through many more resets politically. But this is all on a soul level of getting to know yourselves on a galactic level. You can say also this is retirement of the third dimensional human. Doesn't mean it's going to be turned off instantly, as some of you would like, but it also shows that you're going more galactic. Realize also, many want to go into space, SpaceX, your government. It is time for a change here on your earthbound planet to take the outside world more seriously. Oh, it's time to grow up, basically, is what's happening here. as you're being rushed off to college, even if you're not ready. Now, some might hold themselves back, and that's quite all right. You're still going to assist that vibration as you go into a shift. There's so many, you're not going to, no one's not going to be left behind. No, you're all going together in a transition into the stars, becoming more aware of it. Believe what you want to believe, but your corruption here has been, yes, wanting to show itself for some time. Darkness is showing its true face, you can say. And it's up to you and how you see it, what you perceive things as you want to perceive. Yes, your viewpoints all matter. Everything matters. But yes, there's a false energy going on currently of your, presidency that's not legal at this time. So, yes, there's a lot of... So you say why the media is doing what it's doing is a trickster energy. A trickster energy is bringing this, pushing things along, as it does best. But as for anybody that skips school and breaks the law, it all comes around eventually, depending on the crime. But in this case, it will be live. So it's on how you perceive it, though. Everyone's going to look at things differently. I always say is to be cautious of your energy. Don't let panic take you over. Yes, as even on both sides, those that believe this is legit or those that are not, calm is necessary for the transition that you're going to. Because many aren't going to have calm. Many of you are not feeling very calm. But yes, calm is going to be very difficult. As for Dolce, it being released, as many of them want to be known, that Biden is their project. It's their masterpiece. Of course they're going to brag about it. Wouldn't you? I mean, this is your new world. As discussions like this will not be censored. No. They have been censored, and we've sent a lot of this information and censored. We feel like that's going to come to an end for a true awakening to truly activate itself. So old conspiracy theories, a lot of that is being cleared out. You're going to a new energy, not conspiracy though. Truth that is very difficult for some to handle. But if you want your awakening, as many of you are prepared, will continue. Because when you see an alien being at a higher vibration, that's very difficult to handle on a physical level. You feel like you're suffocating, your mind's... It's like you feel like you're just dying. Some people feel that way. It's like, is this death? It's like, no, you're just getting a visitation. That's all. Because we can calm that down, but sometimes you have to let the human get out those emotions. Because sometimes when you suppress it, it's not a good idea. So, expect the unexpected.